Oh, action! Hey guys, it's Jonina here from Lowy, and today I have a wonderful model, Courtney. And with Courtney's hair today, we are going to demonstrate one of our Curls Made Easy routines. There are 5 routines in total, and today we are covering the hero routine. Now, the hero routine is our most time-intensive routine, so it requires a little bit more patience, a little bit more detail, but will give you the greatest amount of longevity of style, the greatest amount of volume, and the greatest result in terms of sustain of your wash cycle, so greatest longevity. I just want to talk you through first, before we get started and cleanse and hydrate her hair, I want to talk you through my diagnosis process. Now, Quartz's hair is not colored hair, it's virgin hair. You can see it's got a few different curl patterns through it. We've got a tighter curl structure through the front here. And then on the kind of the back area, you can see it struggles to get quite as much curl. So consistency of curl is one issue. We do like more curl structure in this top section, which you'll see in our technique, how I work to build more curl consistency through there. But our desire is kind of just lovely, lightweight, bouncy, beautiful, natural curly hair, right?
Yeah.
So my product choice for Quartz's hair is we're gonna use our Nourish and Flourish shampoo, our Nourish and Flourish conditioner. And then when we're back here styling, we're gonna focus our product choice on Oomph first as our hero styler. Then we're gonna layer over the top some Schutz Spa and a sneaky bit of Hold It. So let's go and get this girl hydrated. All right, so Courtney's hair is now hydrated, cleansed, all ready and juicy and ready for styling. So for our hero routine, I'm going to talk you through how to section this up. So we're going to make a kind of internal mohawk section up the top. You could also call it a horseshoe section. And so what we're going to do is come through here and section up this inner top piece of the hair. Now, if you have on hand, it's good to use a clip in this moment just to keep this hair up and out of the way, okay? Then what we're left with here is the underneath section. Now, I like to pre-section as much as I can, which means when your hands are all slimy with hair product, it's as easy as possible. So I'm going to go from around the kind of temple area, and I'm going to section that piece up. It doesn't have to be super neat. You just want to work with making section sizes that you feel comfortable to work with. Then I'm going to come from behind the ears. Clip this up. So here I have created my first zone that I'm going to work with, my second, my third, and then my fourth and final zone. So just taking that little time is going to set you up for a really smooth product application process. Okay, so here, after sectioning out Courtney's hair, you can start to see that the hair has dried out a little bit. When we're styling, one of the most key and important things is that the hair is soaking wet. So go in, if your hair is quick to dry, or maybe you got busy or something happened, so the hair has just dried out a little bit. The goal is that as you're applying the product, we have an even consistency of hydration. That way the product can deliver even and consistent results. If the hair is damp, you will get uneven results. Now we're coming in with our Oomph hydration gel, and I'm gonna work with about a 10 to 20 cent size per section. Don't be afraid, this will not make your hair crunchy and it won't overload the hair. If you feel like you need a little bit more, depending on the length or the thickness of the hair, then definitely go through. Now what you can see I'm doing is with my fingers, I'm coming over and under each of my sections. Now when I'm doing that, I'm making sure that I'm getting the hair right from the roots and spreading the product all the way down to the ends. This is so important because a lot of times people get really fuzzy roots, and most of that problem is because they never applied the product from roots to ends. Now we're going to grab our flexi brush. You can grab whichever one is in your bathroom or on your salon trolley. And I'm coming through and just really distributing the product, number one. But you can also see the angle in which I am brushing the hair. So I'm brushing the hair up and out from the scalp. Reason we do this is to begin to build volume and consistency of curl clump size. So you can already see I've got a bit of lift at the roots here, and you can start to see that my curl clumps are now sitting really smooth, really consistent, and they're starting to take shape beautifully. We're going to continue up the hair at this point. For me, this is too large of a section to work on, so I'm splitting this in half, keeping my clip so I can just keep that bit up, and I'm going to dampen down, resaturate the hair. So each time you're working your sections, you just want to make sure they are well hydrated and thoroughly saturated. And I'm continuing with my 10 to 20 cent size of oomph each section I take. Over and under, and making sure you come right in and around the edges or the hairline. This is really key to make sure that you have consistency of style and longevity of frizz. Then we're grabbing our flexi brush, and I'm distributing the product and setting the volume. So depending on the circumference of the head, depends on how detailed your sections need to be. But you can slow it down at this point and just work, square on 90 degrees at the section. Or you can just clump it all together if you're a bit less detailed. Okay, so here you can see we've got amazing curl clumps happening here, and we're going to start to move to the top area, the mohawk. So first up, I'm going to remove the clip. Now we're going to, as you would have presumed, rehydrate, re-drench and saturate that section first. Now for those of you at home, or say you're working with somebody's hair that's quite finer, what I would recommend doing in this moment is going and applying your gel through this whole section first. If you have really thick hair, I would recommend going section by section and applying the gel one section at a time. But today I'm just going to just lay the hair there for a second. And you can see I'm just using really open hands as I come in here, coming right into the root area and especially around this hairline. It is the most important bit. It frames the face, and it's often the area that gets frizziest or most out of control the quickest. Now just the slippability on the hair, I'm just going to add a tiny bit more oomph on these ends. Now I'm going to start my sectioning. So we are going from ear to ear in how we section. So I'll lay this to the side, then I'm grabbing my flexi brush, and we are brushing up from the roots, and we are just going to lay it flat, stacking back section by section. Picking up your section. You can use a tail comb, you can use your fingernail, you can use a clip at this point to do your sectioning. The goal is to create really smooth, lovely, consistent curl clumps. If your curls look messy at this point or they're starting to frizz out, add more water and a little bit more product before you continue moving. If it looks messy and frizzy at this point, you can still kind of rectify that situation. Now, as we move further forward on the head, you'll start to notice if you touch the top of your head right now, the front of your head starts to curve forward. So that means as we are brushing, you'll see me do this on this section. I'm starting to overextend it forward. That's to continue my root volume, because I have to make allowance for the fact that the head shape is changing. And now I'm taking my final section and then we lay it back. So what we have at this point is we have thoroughly applied our styling product, which for Courtney's hair we've chosen Oomph. I have thoroughly and consistently created all of our curl clumps and really detailed in on our root volume. Now we're going to start to bring the curls to life, and we're going to start to scrunch them and turn them kind of 3D. So I am going to get Courtney just to lean her head to the side. Beautiful. So this part, the hair is quite, you don't want to rake your fingers through because you'll disrupt all of what you've done at the roots, but you just want to work with flat palms. And coming from the bottom here, we are going to let the curls build up kind of like a slinky. See it happening there? And then we're going to pulse at the roots, and you should hear a really wet, squishy sound. That is the goal. And what you can start to see, Courtney's curls just starting to build ever so beautifully here. And this is starting to bring shape and vibrance and form to all of her curls. Now, the more you do this, the more curl you're going to encourage. So if you have wavier hair, then I would encourage you to just spend a little bit longer on this. If you have longer hair that is really curly and actually quite tangly, feel free not to do too much of this because it may end up tangling your curls. And then we'll continue on the other side. Now that we have started to build all of their beautiful curl structure, we're now going to start to remove the water content of the hair and intensify this process that we just did. So on Courtney's shoulders, we have our cold shoulder guard. So if you have the cold shoulder guard available, you can use that. If you have our curl quencher gloves on hand, you can also use those. But I'm going to show you using the cold shoulder guard. So my hand is underneath here, and I am doing the exact same motion that we did previously, and we pulse up at the roots. And then move my hand around and continue to pulse and take out that excess water. Now, the great thing about our gloves and our cold shoulder guard is due to the weave of the towel, it's drawing out the excess water, but each time you squeeze it, it's pushing more product back into the hair. And as you can see, it's really helping to build the shape of the curls because we're taking out some of the weight of the water. Now, for those of you curlies who maybe aren't trying to build a lot of curl, and maybe you want to elongate and stretch out your curl, at this point you could do the exact same process, but instead of squeezing it up to the scalp, you would pulse down the hair, kind of like you were drying a rope, and just pulse as you go. And that's going to help extend and elongate the curls as opposed to building and volumizing the curls. Now I am seeing amazing curl structure. I'm going to layer over the top our final product, Schutz Bar. So I'm going to work with about 3 pumps per side. Obviously Courtney has a lot of hair, so it's easier to just work in a smaller amount to start with. Now for Courtney's hair, because of the length and the weight of her hair, we are trying to build more consistency and structure in this top root area where she gets a lot of drag. So my first touch of the Schutz Bar is in the area where I want to create more support, okay? Then the last amount on my hands, I'm going to just pulse up from the bottom of the hair strands to the mid-lengths. It's okay to touch this product on the scalp because what you're going to do is just help amp up the volume and the root support for her style. What I'm going to show you guys now to do is how to create a consistent volume around the hairline at the front. This is our volume clip. Often when people use these, they will pinch them open like so, slide them into the hairline and create almost like a too much bunch that gathers inside the clip. What you want to do when you use these is just get them open kind of so they're almost parallel, not like this, just a slight amount open. Then you kind of pinch the hair where you're going to work from and slide it along the scalp and let go. The goal of the pin is to slide in and help kind of like scaffold or support the root structure to dry at a 90-degree angle. That means you're going to have really great sustain of volume. Now over on this side, watch how it's falling to the side. Heads are round, so sometimes you may need to come in on a slight diagonal like so to also help support the consistency of the volume. I'm going to show you also our other volume accessory, which is our volume combs. You get 4 of those in a bundle. And so you want to find the part where you find your hair separates the most and come either side of that with the combs, slide them across until they interlock. Now what you can see is that's creating amazing amount of lift, number one, and it also helps to just dissolve any part lines if you don't want them to be a focal point or you want your volume to be consistent. Now for me, if I was leaving my hair to air dry, this is a great time to leave them in, but I'm actually going to start to diffuse without these in. To start with, get the natural volume forming, and then I'm going to slide these in towards the end of Courtney's hair drying routine. So let's get the diffuser going, start drying these curls, and then we'll layer them back in a moment. Now we're coming in ready to start our drying. Now you can always opt for a natural air dry. The cold shoulder guard is great at protecting your clothing while you leave your hair to naturally dry. But for today's hairstyle for Courtney, our goal is volume and consistency of curl from roots to ends. So we are going to be focusing on our slinky method. So letting the hair just kind of scoop up, and we're bringing the diffuser right to the scalp. We're wanting to build curl formation from ends to roots. So if you're only diffusing like this, you're never going to be increasing the curl form in that root area, okay? One of the things you can do is, if you're in the bathroom, or say this is your client in a professional like salon setting, get the client to either bend their head over to the side. Some people even like to go upside down and just diffuse their hair fully upside down. It's completely up to you and the mobility of your client or yourself. Now, if your goal is more an elongated curl pattern and you don't want it too springy or coily looking, you can do more of a hover diffuse like so. So we're allowing the hair to just be longer and just allowing the air to blow through from the diffuser throughout the lengths of the hair, just like so. Courtney's hair is now completely dried and diffused. Now the best way, if you're questioning whether or not your curl clumps are dry, is to find one of your thickest clumps and give it a little pinch. When you do that, you'll feel inside, and if it feels damp at all, when you're pinching, that means you need to keep diffusing it for longer. So yeah, the pinch test is perfect. I've removed all of our volume clips and our combs out of Quartz's hair, and I'm going to show you how to scrunch out the crunch and remove kind of the 2-minute noodle feeling that can possibly be part of this process. So do not fear, they're about to go. So Courtney, if you feel comfortable, I'll get you to flip your head over. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to shimmy through doing like small zigzags along the scalp. What I'm doing at this point is starting to just get movement in this root area. So I'm never raking through, I'm only doing zigzags along the scalp like so. There are a few different methods you can do to scrunch out the cast. One of my team member Lacey's, her favorite is the clap. That's a great option for people who are more frizz prone. You can just come in with a classic, just keep moving the hair like so. So just a really good scrunch out. My favorite method, because I like, I guess, a softer, more movable curl, is I tend to pull the hair a little bit like a rope, and then I'll grab, if the hair is long enough, I grab the ends and give it a really good shake. I really like to get the curls with a lot more movement. And so I find just giving them a little shake like that is epic to get the curls really looking less like crunchy 2-minute noodles. Now at this point, if you're scrunching out this cast, the gel cast, and you feel like the hair is still crunchy and you're struggling to get that softness, just 2 or 3 drops of our Hush Nourishing Oil and work it through, and that'll soften out that final bit of the cast. Courtney's hair doesn't really need it, so I'm not stressing. Now, because I love sensational volume, I'm gonna do one extra sneaky thing. I'm grabbing our Hold It spray and I'm just misting it through the roots a little bit, like so. And I'm gonna come in with my diffuser and I'm just going to really set in this volume because I want big, beautiful hair. Now for the final reveal. Come and flick your hair out. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What you can see here is number 1, amazing, gorgeous, stunning curly hair. You can see how these curls have just really popped. The volume is huge, yet touchable. Do you want to have a fiddle?
It's so nice.
And here you can see the effects of our hero routine. It does take longer. You are going to get sensational results. And I think the best thing is the longevity of the wash cycle. Courtney should be able to get 5 sensational days with really detailed curl clumps, easy to refresh hair, and great volume. So there you have it. Curls Made Easy, our hero routine. Thanks, Courtney.